You ever feel like you have massive ambition, big dreams, big goals, but somehow you're just consistently dumbfounded by just how immensely lazy you are? Well, it's not laziness, it's efficiency. That's my senior quote. And let me tell you something. It probably sums up our conundrum quite badly. Tell me if this sounds like you. So I'm a very ambitious person. I've got a lot of big, lofty dreams. At different points in my life, I wanted to be an owner of a mega spaceship company that both gives renewable solar energy to the entire planet and mines asteroids, unify my religion, which you may know if you paid any attention to my background,
and many more, but I do not want you guys to listen to me yap about my dreams anymore. So sorry about that.
Maybe you don't have goals that lofty, but I'm sure you still have some pretty ambitious goals that a lot of people might giggle at when you tell them. And if you don't think you have any of those, maybe this video isn't for you. But there's just one teeny weeny problem I have with having all these lofty goals. I'm lazy. So lazy, in fact, that I go about doing my work in the easiest way possible, all the time. At my current job, instead of, trying to do my job well, I spend most of my time thinking about how I can do as little of my job as possible without getting in trouble. And let's just say this is not a mindset you want for any passion projects or businesses you're trying to start. So I guess I'm just cooked. But through careful action, I was able to switch my perverted view of productivity into a productivity where I can go 2 hours of working on something that I'm not super excited about working on, but it's also helping me move towards these goals that I am really excited about. And because you also self-identify as someone who is ambitious and lazy, let me show you how you can do this as well. I've been working at Starbucks for close to 1.5 years at this point. And a laziness mindset is so good for a job like that. Because no matter how hard I work, the best case scenario is that I can get promoted into a manager position, make an extra $3 or $4 an hour, have maybe 1 week of paid vacation, but then I have to be a manager for a food service company, which is possibly the worst career possible. So why not just do as little work as possible and get paid a few dollars less than your manager? But for something like YouTube, it's still good to get as much work done in as little time as possible like I do at Starbucks. But I also have a never-ending amount of work, and so then I have to then combine this efficiency with actually doing a lot of hard work. But what's the point of that? Why would I spend all this time to optimize my work just to fill it up with more work? It didn't work very well with my laziness mindset. And so that's when the problems started. During the summer, when I didn't have school, I woke up and just dreaded the day ahead of me. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I mean, I knew that I had to, do something, but what exactly was I supposed to do? I couldn't just keep playing Minecraft and watching YouTube all day. And so instead of getting out of bed right away, getting coffee and water and getting to work quick, I would turn off my alarm and, just say that I need 5 minutes to wake up. And so I used my phone to go to YouTube. Well, 5 minutes turned to 60 minutes. And this is because I didn't really want the day to start, because I didn't want to have to figure out what I was gonna do that day, because that seemed like a lot of hard work. Oh, but it was worse than that, because then when I went to the bathroom, I stayed in there an extra 30 minutes. And let's just say I was still on my phone. This was not what I had intended the day prior. It really wasn't, but my brain just convinced me of this procrastination because hard work is, hard. Mentally at least. It's not like I was straining any muscles, but hey, mental work is tough. And it's not like I was unaware of all that was going on. I knew I was procrastinating, and I knew that I should have been doing something different. And it was really affecting my mentality. I was just getting really, really guilty this day. I just look in the mirror and think about how I'm just wasting away. Like I have summer, this beautiful time to turn my YouTube dream into something more real. But I was just doing even less than when I was in school. A month had passed, but if you took someone who saw me at the start of the month and the end of the month, they wouldn't be able to see any real differences. And from this experience, I did the worst possible thing I could in this situation. I started to identify as a lazy person. And if you know anything about psychology, the reason this is so bad is because when you start identifying as something, your actions will change to match your identity more easily. If you think of yourself as a confident person, then you're gonna start acting more confident. If you think of yourself as a smart person, it's not like your IQ is going to raise, but you're gonna start doing things that exhibit to others that you're smart. And if you identify as a lazy person, you're gonna start doing behaviors that exemplify laziness. But I think I've been able to overcome my laziness. And it's not by watching some motivational hype videos telling you to get off your cheeks and get to work. Through this plan I have for you, you may suffer, but that suffering pain will be nothing like the regret pain you'll have from wasting away your days. Those motivational videos are gonna get you like 15 or 20 minutes of motivation, maybe even a day of motivation if you're lucky. But afterwards, you're gonna fall back down to your baseline of laziness. Instead, and this is something that I just keep repeating in all of my videos, you need to change your environment. The biggest thing a lazy person can do is to make a to-do list. You need to schedule out things that you need to do the next day. The biggest reason I didn't get out of bed is because I knew I wanted to improve my YouTube channel, but I wasn't exactly sure how I would do that. And so the goal of a to-do list is to get rid of that thinking process in the morning, and you just go to your list and you know the exact first thing you have to do. It's not gonna be a big to-do list, but it's gonna have a lot of things that you're gonna laugh at when you see them. Like if you're really lazy and have no schedule at all, you should probably schedule for yourself as your very first task to, like, I don't know, go to the bathroom immediately in the morning so you don't stay in bed. And then you should schedule as your next task to be like, get water. You know, these really simple things, but when you're in a rut, they just become forgotten. It even happens to me now sometimes when I think I have a pretty good schedule. I can just get in a rut and stop doing these really important things. But don't go too hardcore with it, because I do believe in momentum. And when you have no momentum, you can't have these really in-depth to-do lists. You need to start off with something really, really small. As a little example, if you have an essay that's due in 3 days, don't schedule for it to be written in its entirety the next day. Instead, just schedule yourself to write the intro paragraph. That seems like a much more feasible feat than writing an entire essay. And so you're more likely to actually do your to-do list instead of skipping it. And that's the real goal here. Kind of like when gym gurus tell you that consistency is key, and that going too hard at the start and then ending your gym consistency is gonna be so much worse than if you just go really light but stay consistent. Do not procrastinate this. Don't watch any more videos, not even my own. There is only so much information you can learn before the best thing you can do is, take action. You might be thinking you're setting yourself up for success, but the truth is you're only preventing yourself from getting valuable experience. So just make a simple to-do list. When I made my first to-do list, it was a pretty small one. I woke up around 8 o'clock. I then worked from around 8:30 to 10. I then took a 15-minute break. And then I was supposed to work for another hour, but that rarely ever happened. So in reality, I basically scheduled the first 2 hours of my day. And after that time and that schedule was complete, I could do whatever else I wanted to for the rest of the day. And you know what? I really had to fight the urge to schedule every little part of my day throughout the experience. Make sure to meditate, make sure I do a gratitude journal, make sure I worked out, make sure I did some cardio and played some basketball. But that had to be stopped. I had already tried that numerous times and it always failed because it was too much change at once. Yeah, it'd be really nice if I could get all those done at one time, but won't you get more done if you drive 10 miles per hour for 100 days than if you speed 50 miles per hour for a day? So please, 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 when you make this to-do list, refrain from the urge to schedule every little thing and be super duper productive, because you're just gonna end up in the same spot you started at. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be improving your schedule. So that was what I did day one, with that 90-minute of work time. On day 2, I started going to the gym. At day 3, I didn't really add a schedule thing. I just said, play less than an hour and a half of video games. Day 4, I added in doing something with my family, which could literally be anything. It could be a 5-minute talk to my dad. Day 5, I kept it the same, which is totally fine. You don't have to add something every day. Day 6, I added in an extra 30 minutes of deep work after dinner. And day 7, I added in an extra 5 minutes of meditation in the morning. And before I knew it, I had a schedule that made me proud at the end of each day. When I accomplished it, of course. There was definitely days that I didn't accomplish what I wanted to do. You will have slip-ups. On my first day of doing this, I believe I was supposed to stop around 10 o'clock, but ended stopping closer to 12:30, mostly because my break turned into a breakfast that lasted an hour and a half. And my deep work was not very deep because half of that time I was watching some Minecraft YouTube videos. Yep, not great, but by the end of the week, I was completing all the different things I assigned to myself on time, consistently, and felt good about it. So what do you have to say? I also recommend setting your expectations much lower than they are now. It's fairly accurate to think that you might get 0.5%, maybe a percent better every day. Now, 1% is pretty difficult to see. If I put this box on screen and increase it by 1%, it's gonna be pretty difficult for you to see the difference. But if I show you a box after 30 days of continual 1% growth, here's the difference. It's a pretty awesome and noticeable before and after. If you're at 100% and you improve yourself by 1%, you'll be 101%. But if you're at 100% and you improve by 1% every day for 365 days, you will end up at 3,778%, or 37.78 times better than you were before. So don't compare yourself by a day-by-day basis, but instead by a month-by-month basis or a year-by-year basis. And trust me, you will see staggering growth. And I'd like to remind you that all of this time that you spent in this video, when you probably could have been working, is going to be useless if you don't take action. So I ask nothing else of you, no call to actions, but to instead actually take some action for yourself. Now, don't forget to make a to-do list, make continual improvement, and think better. I'll catch you over in my next video somewhere in the future.